Leaders Summit has come to a conclusion. We have responses coming in from across the world. The one we're going to highlight for you right now is coming in from the United States. As reactions pour in and as the dust settles on the G20 summit, the United States is calling it an absolute success. This was in a regular briefing on Monday. The US State Department spokesperson told reporters, "We absolutely believe that it was a success. The G20 is a big organization." Remember, why is this comment so important? It's because if you take a look at the consensus that was arrived at post the G20, if you take a look at the Delhi Declaration, for example, it's largely believed by experts that it is the Western bloc of countries that did climb down in the language that was used towards Ukraine. That's why this assurance is doubly important. Let's take a look at this reaction from the US official, then we'll connect with the reporter for more.
We absolutely believe it was a success. I will just say with respect, let's take a minute. First, with respect to the statement, the G20 is a big organization. Russia is a member of the G20. China is a member of the G20. There are members that have a diverse range of views. We believe the fact that that organization was able to issue a statement that calls for respecting the territorial integrity and sovereignty and saying that those principles should not be violated is an extremely important statement, because that is exactly what is at heart of Russia's full invasion of Ukraine. It is those very questions. So we thought that was an incredibly important statement for them to make.
Okay, my colleague Abhishek Jha is with us right now. Abhishek, I do want to point out to our audiences, in the United States, you obviously have President Joe Biden. He was in Vietnam right after this meeting. And in Vietnam, when he landed, he did make a few statements that much attention was given to about the G20. He did once again hail its success. However, he did talk about press freedom when it came to India. He made a few other very pointed comments. After that, we're now seeing this set of comments coming in from State Department officials in the United States. How should we understand this entire set of comments that have come in from right after the summit to now? What does it represent about the United States takeaways?
So to add two things. First, talking about this right thing that Joe Biden, US President, did talk about in Vietnam, we could see that in the last few years, ever since the countries in South Asia especially, they have emerged as major economic powers, or at least the emerging economies on the world stage. The criticism of these countries have been diluted in various European countries as well, and in European setup as well. So it doesn't necessarily has to be politically correct always, and the countries in USA and Europe, they have understood the fact that the political reality of every country has to be independent from the partnership that US or Europe wants to have with those countries. That is one thing. Second is the success of the G20 summit level talks. Of course, the countries around the world, especially those who have been the partners and the members of G20, they have been lauding and praising India's G20 presidency for the reason and the very fact that despite those clear and wide differences, India managed to do well and come out with a Delhi declaration. That also underlines the significance of new geopolitical alignments where certain countries who used to be the power centers of the world, especially in Europe and USA, they have realized that the fast-moving geopolitical realities that the new power or the future power is in the hands of developing countries like India, Brazil, South Africa, African continent, and if these countries have to be taken into consideration, or the US or EU wants to continue to be at the power sector, they will have to be with them, align with them, and probably that is the only future, especially if they have to counter the emergence of China on the world stage, which is again trying to create a monopolar world, unipolar world. So countering China is also one thing why US and EU countries are trying to get aligned with these developing countries, and also the new realities of the political world. The economic power that they have, the demographic dividend these countries have, and the technological innovation these countries have achieved in the last few years have kind of given a sense that the future lies in developing countries, and so their concerns, their challenges, their priorities have to be listened and understood at the world forum. So probably these were the reasons why G20 was able to come out with Delhi declaration that was again lauded because of the Indian presidency and the group that came together and decided to put aside the differences.
Okay. Can I just ask you, Abhishek, to stay with us? We have more updates regarding the G20 coming in, so we'll actually come back to you. All right. Bill Gates.